Hi everybody and good morning. So today I wanted to take you along as I'm going to be making mozzarella cheese. We do have a dairy cow on the homestead, and one of the things that we do like to do with her milk is make mozzarella cheese. So I just wanted to bring you along and show you how the process is done. Later on in the video I also have a few basil plants that I had gotten from a local farmer's market over this past weekend, and I will also be uppotting that, so I'll also take you along for that. So in the meantime, I'll get you down here and I'll show you what exactly you'll need to make mozzarella cheese. Okay, so I do have a written down mozzarella cheese recipe that I have always used, and it has worked out so well. So I can go ahead and actually type it up and put it in the show notes at the bottom if you're interested. So first things first, you will need a gallon of milk. This milk was actually done this morning. It has still the cream in it and everything, which is completely fine. With that, you'll need a 1/4 teaspoon of Animal Rennet. And when you do the 1/4, you'll also have 1/4 cup of cool water as well that you'll mix that into. You will also need citric acid, and with citric acid you'll need 1 1/2 teaspoon mixed in with 1 cup of water. Alright, so let me go ahead and I'll get that all set and then we'll get going. Alright, so here we are. I did go ahead and fill my 1/4 cup of cool water, but I did put it into a bigger bowl because it would not fit putting in my Animal Rennet in there. So we have 1/4 cup of cool water, and with that we are going to put 1/4 teaspoon of Animal Rennet. Alright, we put that in there. We're going to give it a little bit of a mix. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set that aside. Next we have our 1 cup of water, and with our 1 cup of water we're going to put 1 1/2 teaspoon of citric acid. So I do have a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'll do 3 of these. All right, we're also going to give that a good stir. All right, so it's time to get assembling everything. So first things first, let me go ahead and get my instructions here. Okay, using a large saucepan, we're going to pour the citric acid into the pot. So we'll go ahead and do that first. Perfect. Okay, and then we're going to add the gallon of milk with this. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir because the cream's kind of settling on the top. Okay, slowly pour this in. Okay. All right, so we are going to mix this lightly just to kind of mix the citric acid in with the milk. We don't want to go too crazy. Just give it a little bit of a stir. All right. So something else that you will need is a temperature gauge. The first things first is we are going to put this on medium heat. And then we are going to stir constantly, as constantly as you can. And we need this milk to get up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The main thing that you want to consistently stir it, or stir it every now and then, is you don't want the milk to scorch at the bottom of your pot. So that's the main reason for that. Go ahead and turn this on. Yep, we got a little while. All right, so we'll come back when we have this up to 100 degrees. Okay, so we are at 95 degrees, so we are getting very close. All right, and we are already there. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn this off, and we are actually going to take this off of the heat, and we're going to put it on a cool burner. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to slowly pour in our Animal Rennet mixture. So when we do this, we're going to slowly kind of do like a circle motion in it to kind of get the Animal Rennet to the bottom as well. And what that's going to do is that's going to start the process of separating the cheese from the whey. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, and we're going to stir for about 30 seconds, I would say. And then once we've stirred this for 30 seconds, we are going to put a cover on it, and we're going to let it set for 10 minutes. All right. Put our cover on. We're going to put our timer for 10 minutes. And then we wait. So one thing that we'll want to do while we are waiting for the 10 minutes up with the cheese is we want to get a small saucepan ready. We're going to put hot water in it. We're going to put it on the stove, and we want to heat that up to 175 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And you want a pretty big pan, because what we're going to be doing is once we rinse out the cheese, we're going to stretch it, and then we have to put it back in the hot water, stretch it again. So you want it big enough where the cheese can get in there and get warmed back up. You don't want a small one where it's going to overflow the water. Okay, so when we're waiting for those, we're going to go ahead and get our dishes washed up. Okay, so we have reached 10 minutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice down the middle here. Kind of want to put them in smaller chunks so when we stir it, it'll be a little easier to stir. All right, great. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are actually going to turn the heat back on, and we are going to give this a good stir. We're actually going to get it up to 105 degrees on medium, and it's not going to take very long to get up to it because it didn't take too long setting. So we're going to go ahead and stir this and wait for that to get up to 105 degrees. Bring everything over here. Sit this in here. Yeah, it only got down to 97 degrees, so it's not going to take long to get back up to 105. All right, we have made it to 105. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the heat off. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and we are going to stir constantly for 5 minutes. All right, guys, sorry to say, but I thought I hit record and I did not, so I do apologize for that. So what I did is I actually put the cheese in the whey in a strainer. I did have a bowl underneath, so I did catch the whey, and I did go ahead and put it into my jar here as well because that'll go to the pigs later and they'll really enjoy that. So what I have been doing is kind of just squeezing out the excess whey out of here. And what we're going to end up doing is we have our hot water here that we had gotten to 175. So once I get as much of this out, I'm going to go ahead, warm it back up in the hot water, pull it out, and start the stretching for the mozzarella cheese. So we'll go ahead and we'll be doing that a few times. You can definitely add salt to the mozzarella cheese, all to your taste. You can add as little or as much as you want. But mozzarella cheese is something that we love having in the house. We love making homemade pizza. One thing that I did find this summer, don't think it's weird, but it is dill pickle pizza. And I have never had it before. I'm not quite sure why I've never heard of it before because I love dill pickles. And it has been so good. So I'm so excited because I always grow cucumbers in my garden and I always make my own dill pickles. So between my homemade dill pickles, my mozzarella cheese, homemade dough that I make, it's just gonna be so good to have everything fresh for that pickle pizza. And it is delicious. Don't hack it till you try it, guys. It's amazing. All right. So it has cooled down a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into the hot water just for about 30 seconds or so. Another thing that's nice to have with mozzarella cheese is, I can never think of the name of it, but you have mozzarella cheese with tomato and basil and glazed, what is that, balsamic glaze? It's gonna be delicious. All right, so you're gonna wanna be careful because remember this is up to 175 degrees, so it's gonna be super hot when you take that cheese out. So I always have a spoon here and I'm gonna try to scoop it out and put it back into my strainer. Oh yeah, it's definitely ready. All right, pop it back in. Look at it, it's already super stringy. Okay, great. All right. So you don't have to use your hands if you don't want to. You can always use a spoon to kind of stretch it out, but I do feel that you'll get a better stretch when you do it with your hands. And obviously let it try to cool down a little bit before you do it so you don't burn yourself. But look at that. Yay! That looks amazing. And the nice thing about mozzarella cheese too is you can use it the same day. So it's not like sharp cheese or anything like that where you have to let it set for a long time. This is same day use. So what we would do is we would let it cool in the refrigerator for a while and then you can use it that evening if you would like, completely up to you. We also freeze it, so it's really nice, especially when we're getting the abundance of milk that we're getting and we just don't know what to do with it most of the time. Yes, we'll make our butter, but it's nice to have mozzarella cheese too that you can throw in the freezer after it's cooled. And one night after work, if you do want that dill pickle pizza, you can make sure that you take out the pizza dough and the cheese that morning and you'll be all set. All right, let's put it back in here for a few more seconds. I'm also going to get my salt ready as well. Okay. And the salt that we use is pink Himalayan salt. You can use any salt, but that's just the one that we like and prefer. So, all right, take it out again. Put it in our strainer. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And stretch. You guys will have to let me know if you tried this out and how it went. It did take me a couple times. It's strange because I'll do it for 10 times and I'll get great mozzarella cheese. But then that 11th time, for some reason, it just won't set. Like when I put the Animal Rennet in it, it just doesn't get that thick curd. Like it ends up getting just mushy. Like it just doesn't work right. I'm not quite sure. I do everything right that I do every single time, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's okay. The pigs will love it anyway. All right. One more time. All right. Okay. And this is where we are going to add some salt. Dry off my hands. Again, you can add as little or as much as you want of salt. I prefer salt. It gives it a little better taste. All right. And then we're just going to stretch it in, mix all that salt in there. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. It's like so shiny too. Do you see that? Beautiful. This looks so good. All right, so as we are getting to the end, I'm going to slowly start putting this into a nice ball. And I'm going to put it into a container, put it in the refrigerator. We have quite a bit of leftovers, so I don't think I'm going to use this cheese right away, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to end up freezing it. So when I put it in the refrigerator, it does harden up very good. And then what I do is I just use my vacuum sealer, like the Food Saver. It's already kind of like in a disc form. And put it right in the freezer, and it's beautiful. Look at that. Looks great, guys. All right, awesome. I'm just gonna stick that here. Gonna get a container. All right, I'm gonna put it in there. Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Okay. And that's that. We're going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator and let it cool. Hey everybody. All right, so as I had mentioned before, I do have a few basil plants here that I am looking to up pot. We went to our local farmer's market, which is about 40 minutes from us, and they had some basil. This little thing, there's probably, gosh, 10 basil plants in here. And it was only $3, so I didn't think it was that bad, and it smells so good. I will go ahead and put down the name of this basil because me trying to say it would not be good. All right, so we do have basil. I do have a towel or a sheet here down just because we do have a new porch and I don't want to ruin it already. We do have some soil here. This is potting soil, all-purpose with fertilizer. And I had actually gotten these pots from my local Dollar General. So this one, take out the stickers. So this one is, I guess it doesn't say how big it is, but it's a nice size pot. And then I got these little clear trays to put on them. So again, they don't ruin the porch when I have them out here in the summertime. Right now it's about, I think, close to 60 degrees. I live in upstate New York. Snow is finally gone. Spring's definitely in the air, so we are very much looking forward to the gardening season. So I got this smaller pot here, and then I got two of these bigger pots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill all these pots with this soil, and then we'll go ahead and put the basil in. So one thing that I have never planted before is basil. I've never had it before, not quite sure why, but it smells absolutely amazing. And I am very much so looking to make pesto from the basil. I've seen a lot of recipes lately that I'm really interested in trying, so I'm really excited about that. I also would like to use it for the basil on like the mozzarella cheese, like I had mentioned earlier, the mozzarella cheese, tomato, and the balsamic glaze with some basil. That'll be delicious too. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of preserving with that. Okay, so this one's good. This one's good, and I just have to add a little bit more to this one. And I'm not using any fancy, brand, I guess you can say, of soil for this. It's just this one is called a professional potting mix with fertilizer. Feeds up to 4 months for seed starting and all indoor and outdoor plants. So. All right, let's see how that is. Looks good, looks good. All right, perfect. All right, so let's see how many we can fit in each. I am okay with the fact that it's gonna be a little clustered, I guess you can say. These are gonna be going on my porch, so I'm fine if it kind of bushes out really big. They are kind of all together, so I'm kind of nervous about splitting these up. I don't wanna really disturb the roots much. But we're going to do what we can. And hopefully not kill them. All right. So I'll put some here. First planting of the season, guys. How exciting. We have a huge garden. It's actually way out back. I'm not even quite sure if you can see it, but we love it. It is pretty big, and I will be doing a video on that shortly, I'm sure. I haven't even been back there yet this spring to kind of see what the damage is, so to say. But my first year that I had gardened here at this place, my husband made me a kind of like a nice little patio area, and it has 2 large raised beds in them, and I love them. They did so good for what we needed for that first year. And then the next year, obviously, we want bigger, so we did a huge in-ground garden, and that again did very well for us. And I look forward to taking you guys along for the gardening season. All right, I think this is good for this one. Beautiful. I'm gonna do the next one. I'm gonna do the big one again, and then any extras I'll put in this smaller container here. Hopefully I'm not ruining these by separating them. Have you guys ever gotten them this way and separated them? Like, are they gonna be okay? I have no idea. But every going year is an experience year, so that is okay. Learning every year. This is going to be my 4th year gardening, I believe. Yes, my 4th year. And I still think I'm an amateur at it. I still learn new things every year. I think that's just a part of gardening. You find what you like, you find what you don't like, different type of varieties. Last year I did a lot in my vegetable gardening as far as spaghetti squash. And that was also the first year I learned that I do not like spaghetti squash. Acorn squash. We love acorn squash. That is definitely a favorite in the fall time. And then, what else did I do? Tomatoes, cucumbers. My favorite thing to plant is potatoes. There's nothing like digging into the ground and seeing what's in there. My first year that I did potatoes, total bust. And I think it was because I did it in my raised beds, and which is fine, you can do it in raised beds, but I think my soil was too compact, like it really wasn't super fluffy. So the potatoes, we did have some, but it wasn't in abundance, and there really wasn't anything too big. They were pretty much like little salt potatoes is what I would use them for. But then last year, so the second year, I didn't do it because I was definitely devastated. But then last year I did it, and I did it in my big in-ground garden, and that was amazing. I had 4 different varieties, and we still have some potatoes left over, you guys. Like, it was so fun. Some of them were small, but some of them were huge. I just love it. It's just such a fun surprise, right? So I'll definitely be bringing you guys along when I start that. I have to pull up my weed fabric. I have to till, put it back down, get my potatoes going. And then I have to decide what I want to do for my raised beds this year. Last year, the one raised bed, I did all onions. Still have a ton of onions. My husband's the only one that eats them. I'm not a huge fan. And then on the other side, I think I did like lettuce, and I have horseradish plants in there. What else did I do? I tried beets. Those were a bust. And I'm not even quite sure. Like, my husband likes beets, but I don't like beets. But, so this year I told myself, with doing the garden, I'm going to try to be more intentional with what I grow. Last year I just tried a bunch of different stuff, and didn't really use a ton. My animals really loved a lot of what I grew, especially my pigs. So this year I'm going to be more intentional with what I grow, how much I'm going to grow. So definitely looking forward to that. All right, you guys, these are looking good, right? All right, so I'm going to go water them in. I am going to keep these in the house for a little while, only because we're still getting below freezing temperatures at night. Next week looks amazing. I think some days are even going to be in the 70s, close to 80. So on those really nice, warm, sunny days, I will bring them outside, and so that way they can get that sun. All right, you guys, this looks great. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they look, and I'll definitely give you an update as they grow. Or if they don't grow, if I totally ruin these by separating them like this. All right, you guys, well, thank you so much for coming along as we made mozzarella cheese today. Got these basil up planted. We'll definitely have more videos in the future. We have a lot of projects that we're working on this summer. So if you are liking what you're seeing, please think about subscribing to the channel, and please like the video if you enjoyed it. Have a great day, guys.